log on. So here we are. I'm hoping to get to the computer by next week. Just because I'm hoping that with a camera, I'm actually going to be looking more at the actual screen. But anyway, what does it matter? If you've been around here for a while, you know that it's more about the content than about any kind of graphics or fancy editing or anything like that. So welcome to Monday check-in, which I was about to say Monday morning check-in because it's usually on a Monday morning. It's at 7:30 this evening. Hi, Aurora. It's at 7:30 this evening this week because I was hiking with my friend this morning. But hi, Haruka. Lovely to see you both here. We'll see how we feel about it being on an evening. I do like it being in the morning because I like it to be like a setup for the week. I like it to be Monday morning check-in. How is everyone? How are you feeling? And then I kind of like to set up the week. But we'll see how we go. So Haruka and Aurora, I was just saying that I'm still on the iPad because my computer would not let me log in. Just wouldn't let me log in. So how are you both? As you come on, as you join, let me know how you are. You definitely prefer morning. Me too. I'm a morning person and I like to just set up for the week. It's a good setup for the week. That's the whole point of kind of way I started them. So let me know how you are. And I'm going to start by sharing what has been coming to me. So here's what normally happens. Normally, over the weekend, various things start floating around as inspiration to talk about at Monday check-in. And I leave it. And then when I wake up Monday morning, whichever one is most at the forefront or whatever is then, hi Angela, whatever is like right in my mind, that's the thing I go with. And often I receive it as a visual. So that's what I go with. Today, because I got up this morning, I went hiking, I didn't come home till later in the afternoon, I did some work. That's not how I did this process. So what I did today was I sat down a couple of hours ago and I said, right, what do you want me to share today? And this is what started coming through. So I'm going to share what came through. I'm going to share the cards that have already shown up. And then I'm going to, it's the end of the day, so I'm tired, headache, but that time of month, yeah. I think maybe we're morning people, Aurora, maybe that's the thing. Hi, Marianne. So I'm going to share what came when I just tuned in and said, what do you want me to share today? And I started writing and then some cards came up and I'm going to share exactly what came. And then I'm also going to do, okay, they're saying 4 cards this time. So I'm going to do a shout out for that shortly. Okay, here goes. Okay. People are struggling. They don't need to. There's a lot of fear of the inner world. Okay, so this is what I received. Most people's inner worlds are so dark that they fear the outer being gone and that the inner is all they'll be left with. Okay, people are struggling. They don't need to. There's a lot of fear. And so I asked fear of what? Fear of the inner world. Most people's inner worlds, so this is what I received. Most people's inner worlds are so dark that they fear the outer being gone. So as we talk about systems crumbling, as we start to see things dismantling, there is part of us that yearns for that, but there are some of us that even in the yearning for that, there is a fear of what will I be left with? What if I'm only left with myself? And so because most people's inner worlds is so dark, they fear being left with only that. So I said, well, how do you turn that around? Like if somebody can relate to that, like if you can relate to that, how do you turn that around? And that's when, so actually the first card that I asked for came up with the first message. So the message I just read out, this first card came up, which is from the Rebecca Campbell, the Rose Oracle deck. It's a really beautiful deck that is just brand new out now. So this is the deck and this is the card, the crowning. I mean, have a look at that visual. The crowning. Initiation, thresholds, birth, rebirth, a seat at the table. That's the card that came up with the first message that came. So then I said, so how do you turn it around? If this applies to you, how do you turn it around? And then these two cards came up. Okay, so you can be online. So this is what they said. How do you turn it around? You can be online if you want to, but you need to give up everything that's in the way. So you can be online means that you can be, okay, I'm going to explain it this way because they're saying that it's quite a good way for it to be explained. In kinesiology, when you do a session on someone, you use muscle testing to highlight where there's a stress in the body. So you might say something, or you might hold, like if somebody thinks they're allergic to something, you know, having a bad reaction to a particular type of food, you might get them to hold that food and you muscle test. You might get them to talk about something, you know, a particular circumstance. You might get them to say, okay, you know, think about your work, and then you might hold. If they can't hold to a gentle amount of pressure, what it means is that there's a stress about that topic. And then what the session is designed to do is to clear the stress around that topic, to give you the insight so that you can shift in perspective, clear the stress, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, you know, whatever. What we say in kinesiology, when we, let's say, for example, you're in a kinesiology session, your kinesiologist has realized that your work is a stressor for you. They will get you to think about work, or they will get you to talk about work at the same time as they test that muscle, and at the same time as you can't hold because it's a stressor, and we put it in circuit. And what that means is, so we just do this thing that helps to put it in circuit. We also say it's now online. It's now online. What that lets your body know, your body, your emotional body, your energetic body, your subconscious mind, and your conscious mind, what it lets that know is, okay, we're working on work. This is what we're working on. So then everything that tests up after that is actually giving us information about, so why is work so stressful? So what is it exactly that's going on? What are my thoughts that are making this stressful? What is it reminding me of? What is a pattern that's being triggered? What is all of that stuff that we need to know to clear that stress? We can do that once it's online. So they're saying that that's a really good analogy for what they mean by you can be online if you want to. So you can be, in a sense, on purpose. You can go, okay, this is now online. I'm online. Let me know if that makes sense. I'd love your feedback on that, if that's actually making sense to you as an explanation of what it means when they say you can be online if you want to already. You can already be online if you want to, but you'll need to give up everything that's in the way. That's what they said. So it started off with there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of struggle, and it's actually people's fear of their inner world. Most people's inner world is so dark that they fear the outer being gone, and all they'll be left with is the inner. What if all of this falls apart? What if it all crumbles and all I'm left with is my inner world, and I don't like how it feels, I don't like what it's like in there, but what if that's all I'm left with? So I ask, okay, and then the card for that was the crowning. The birthing, rebirthing, initiation, and a seat at the table. What do I mean by online? So I mean like what I just said in the does the kinesiology example let you know, is that a good example for what that online means? So then I said, okay, so how do we turn that around? And they said, you can be online if you want to, but you'll need to give up everything that's in the way. Okay, let me go to the cards that came up because they might help all of you to understand exactly what being online means. So I said, what is it that's in the way? And these are the two cards that came up. All paths lead to home. All paths lead to home. This is from Rebecca Campbell, the Starseed Oracle deck. All paths lead to home. Inner authority, Intuition, turn your gaze within. So you have to give up everything that's in the way. You can be online if you want to, but you'll need to give up everything that's in the way. So the card that came up was all paths lead to home. And then the question was, what keeps you from home? So what keeps you from yourself? What keeps you from your intentions? What keeps you from being aligned? What keeps you from your values? What keeps you from your priorities? What keeps you from yourself? Okay, I was talking to a friend recently who's got a young toddler, and because she's working full time, I said, oh, she probably misses you. And she said to me, hell, I miss me. Okay, so like, it's a powerful statement. What keeps you from home? Home in the smaller sense, home within, home in the bigger sense, reconnected unity consciousness. So have a think about what keeps you from home. Is it your work? Is it your relationships? Is it the fact that you don't never prioritize yourself? Is it the fact that you do feel so dark on the inside, you're frightened to be left with that? You're frightened to have any length of time where the inside will be all that you have. How would you be if the internet went down? How would you be if you couldn't spend 6 hours a day on social media? How would you be if you had no YouTube? How would you be if all you had was home? And what's keeping you from home? And the other one was, what karmic relationships do you actually want to let go of? What karmic relationships, do you actually not want to let go of? So the other one was karmic relationships, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. What karmic relationships do you actually not want to let go of? Okay, I'm going to start it again from the start because I know there's a lot. And because they kind of gave it to me in this way instead of this visual, actually they did give me a visual too. Let me go to that. They said, what if you were starting high school and you've just left primary school? We can all relate to this. You're in primary school. It's really scary when you first started, right? But by the time you get to grade 6, you love it. Most people love it. Even if you don't love it as an experience, you're comfortable. You know what's what. You know who's who. You know how to navigate it. Then we all get sent off to high school, and we go from having worked our way up the rung, we go from being top of the rung to being the bottom again. We go from knowing and being comfortable to being new, to not having a clue, to being frightened, to everything's unknown. They're saying that the only reason we could start high school was because we left the primary school things behind. We could not have fully integrated into high school if we were allowed to take all the primary school things with us. So do you remember how you had to leave certain things behind in order to make that transformation? It's the same now. There are certain things we can already be online. So we could already be more in unity consciousness. We could already be more intuitive. We could already be more in line with how we're wanting to live. We could already be more in that 5D if we give up the things that are in the way. But we're reluctant to do that. So the questions to ask yourself is, what keeps you from home? And what karmic relationships do you actually not want to let go of? So what toxic relationships do you have that you get it now? Great. What toxic relationships do you have that you don't want to let go of? What primary school things do you have that you don't want to let go of to start that high school? Which things can you look around? And so I said, what information can we have about what do you mean by what karmic relationships do you actually not want to let go of? And they said, who is the disease in your life? First they said, who is the cancer in your life that you don't want to let go of? And I said, oh, that's a bit extreme. And they said, well, who is the dis-ease in your life that you don't want to let go of? So if you're in a karmic relationship that you don't want to let go of, right? So you can feel like, well, I can't because it's a karmic relationship. They're saying you can now. There are karmic relationships that are done. You're done. But you might be holding on to them going, nah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to let go of this. So have a think about in your own life, can you relate with that? Is there a karmic relationship that you actually don't want to let go of? And they're saying specifically, and so the card that came up for that is this one, transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. Things are changing at a cellular level, so you can be online and you can turn around that inner darkness, and you don't have to be struggling as much as you maybe currently are, because like they said, people are struggling, they don't need to. There's a lot of fear of the inner world. And the transformation, the things are changing at a cellular level and deep healing. Who in your life do you still have around that causes you dis-ease? And they actually said, who is the Cancer in your life? And because I thought, well, that's a bit extreme, I kind of asked, really? And they said, well, cancer is just a disease. And then they said, well, disease is just dis-ease. Okay, any questions? Is that starting to make sense, Haruka? Is it starting to kind of like be clear on what being online means? Being online would be being on purpose, being intentional, being clear, being conscious, being in alignment with that unity and that 5D and that kind of life. Just let me know, Haruka, whether that is helpful. Anyone else, any questions? Please let me know. Okay, after that, they went into this. So basically they said, go through all of this and then you can unpick it and you can talk about it. But like they just gave it to me and then they said, you won't be able to get it to this degree while you're live. So then they said, stand up and rise up. And then they said this, whenever we give you this message, meaning to all of us, whenever we give you this message, you think it's an external uprising. Right? So whenever they kind of put the message out into the collective rise up, many of us hear it and feel it and intuit it, and we think that it means, we need to rise up, like there's going to be an uprising, right? We need to have an uprising. So they're saying, no, it's not an external uprising, it's internal. So when they're encouraging us to rise up, they're encouraging us to raise vibration frequency, to have an uprising within ourselves. This will also help us to be online. And then there was a lot of stuff around here, like voice area, lump in the throat. Let me know if any of you have been having that, feeling that. And then what I got was, most of you are afraid to speak your truth. And then this was very, very interesting to me. Okay, that actually went into this card. All right. Maybe my mum, the karmic relationship. Yeah, for sure. For sure, karmic relationships can be not necessarily whole people that you have to get out of your life. They can be patterns. Patterns of relating to somebody can be karmic too. And it might be time, like, where do you break the dis-ease in that? And also it can be like, moving away, literally moving away. So this was really interesting. I got this lump in my throat. I got this whole issue with my voice area when I was doing that part of it. And they said this. They said, all the censorship that you're currently experiencing in the world. Sorry, I wish I could just look directly at you. All the censorship that you're currently experiencing in the world is actually a symbolic of representation of what you do to each other. Okay, let's just sit with that for a moment because it's fucking huge. So the whole reason why we're on YouTube is because of the censorship on Instagram, right? Not that there isn't censorship on here, but because of the shadow banning there, I've come to here. We all are experiencing censorship. We can see it. We're all aware of it. Anyone that's watching here is aware of it. So to actually find out that we are actually fueling, they said, you are actually the thing that is fueling the censorship. It's just a symbolic representation of what you all do to each other. How we shut each other down, how we shut each other up, how we police each other in how we speak, how we police each other in what we can speak about. So have a think about that. Where in your life are you doing that? Like, can you see it? Like, let me know in the comments. Can you see this censorship being rife before this time? Like, can you see like that it's something that happened within your family, or that it's even something that you do with yourself? Do you censor yourself? Because they did say like the uprising, part of the uprising needs to be in that voice area. Most of you are afraid to speak your truth. So where can you see this censorship? Where could you already see it? I mean, for sure. So when, 2020, pre-2020 me, who was woke, for sure, I was woke. I was a massive lefty, greenie, green voting, highly conscious of climate and, people's rights, I thought, and all of that, for sure. And at that time, and I can see it in people now, we fall for that. We fall for the censorship of, don't use that terminology, don't speak like that about that group of people, don't say that about that. We police each other. We've censored each other for a long time, the whole political correctness. I've seen that. I can see now how rife that is, and I can see how it's been manipulated. This is, of course, never to say that this is okay. Yes, I hold back with certain people, especially with my mum. Yeah. So you probably, Haruka, are censored by her. So she's possibly always censored you, either because when you share something with her, she gets upset, or maybe, she gets angry, or maybe then there's silence, or like there's some, even maybe as a child, you're already taught, like, do not voice your opinions. 2020 made me realize I had triggers, and one of those is not having my voice not having my voice. And so yes, I had to always work on making sure, I guess, others are there. So that's great, Aurora, that you're really, you do really use your voice on Instagram. You're really coming to own that. It is so good. It's so good. Like, it's so vital and important. Angela, I feel confident in what I know, but I find it hard to express myself to others. Okay, so that for sure. Okay, I'm going to go into this card, and then I'm going to speak about that, because it's part of it. That is definitely part of it. The difficulty in expressing is definitely part of it. It's part of how we've censored each other, right? So we censor each other with language. We censor each other when we go to school. We get taught the censoring, right? These are the words you use for this, and this is how you structure a sentence, and this is how you do this. And so for those people who so words have always been my thing. I mean, literally, like, I picked up English really quickly. Like, we came here from Austria, I picked up English really quickly and immediately went to like the top reading class, the top English class. That's not because I'm some super whiz intelligent. Words are just my thing. Words are my thing. I can probably embrace them in any language. For other people, where words are not your thing, where you might be more visually descriptive, or music is your way of expressing or communicating, or like, movement is your way of communicating, all those things, they've been censored here because it's not the way we do it. So I'm just fortunate in that department that I fall into the mainstream way of expressing, right? So where I'm really good at expressing, you put me in a different scenario and you say to me, okay, now you have to express yourself through dance. That's not going to go well, right? That's not going to go well. So, I was taught words not my thing, and I shouldn't write or talk, so I shut down as a child. Yeah, see the censoring. I bet you, like, keep putting that what comes to you in the comments, because the censoring of each other, and they're saying the censoring at the moment is a symbolic representation of what we do to each other and what we have done to each other, and it needs to stop. So interesting. How much were we all censored at school? How much were we all censored by the mainstream narrative? And so, like I was saying, if you put me in somewhere and you said, okay, you have to express yourself through dance, you are not going to understand what I'm saying. You might think that I'm asking for an ambulance to arrive really soon, right? So, whereas other people, that will be their thing. So, this is the thing, Angela, like, my whole point is, don't get caught in one way, just find your way and really foster that and encourage that and master that and go, like, that's just not the way I express myself. So that's not just the way. And if you think about a sovereign unity consciousness collective, we will all just allow each other to be who we are. That is already in the woke community that I feel like I can talk about because I was in it. See, we think we're good people. Humans are good people. Humans are good and kind and compassionate and very, very, very loving. And if you convince us that this group of people is upset with us, then we want to make sure that they're not. And so we do things that we're told will make sure that they're not upset. However, of course, we know now that that has been a hijacked matrix narrative. And so really what it would look like in a true unity consciousness society, in what we're, have the opportunity to create at this time, is it would look like somebody coming up to you, Angela, and going, like, you just express yourself however you want to express yourself. And you would be encouraged to do it in your way, and there would be no right or wrong way. You would not stick kids in a school and go, words are it. If you're good at it, you'll thrive in society. If you're not, you're fucked. You'll be poor. You won't have a good job. Why do people have to pass English no matter what they want to do? Why is English the thing you have to pass in year 12 to get into any uni course? Like, why? I've felt that I'm not good at expressing through words for a long time. And Harika, like, you have a million beautiful ways that you express yourself in ways that, are so clear and so, like, you're clearly expressing yourself. Why would you need to express yourself in words? This is the thing. Why would we need to censor each other, censor ourselves? Why would we need to make ourselves fit some rule, some guidelines that someone else has come up with that stifles a lot of people, controls others? Why would we do that? And this is what we're moving beyond and past, and will no longer be an issue. We're going to be able to do it more quickly. That'll be the online part 2. What keeps us from home, right? So maybe the thought of, like, I'm not good with words, I'm not expressive, could be keeping you from home. Home in the sense of being truly here in your experience, and home in the sense of heaven on earth, unity consciousness. You could be kept from that if you keep a belief system going of, I'm no good with words, if you're using that against yourself. Rather than going, I don't need the words, I express myself in other ways. Other people have got the words, I don't need the words. Notice we don't value it the same with, like, singing, musical instruments, art, and all that sort of stuff. And I can assure you, art is going to be revered, music will be revered, all of those gifts will be revered as the healing modalities that they are. They will be, the whole world will topsy-turvy, and all the stuff that everybody thought that they were, like, was so wonderful, will just literally be turned on its head, for sure. And things like art and music and movement, and people who just literally, we can take the piss and we can say, I'm going to express myself now through interpretive dance, and we do it, like, we say it as a joke. It's actually going to be real. And what karmic relationships do you actually not want to let go of, but they're done? So what dis-ease are you carrying around, maybe with some people that you're hanging around with? Then they reminded us, stand up, rise up. This is every time we remind you of this, you get you intuit it or you feel it as a sense. It's not about an external uprising, although that might happen as well. It's not right or wrong, but it's about rise up internally. Lifting your vibration, lifting your frequency, particularly voice area. If you're not good with words, I would say definitely tune in. Am I good with singing? Am I good with whatever, something else in that area, like just to activate it, and start to have a think about how we're actually censoring each other, because the censorship that we're currently experiencing, that we're currently at the hands of, is actually just a symbolic representation of what we do to each other and what we do to ourselves. And the card that came with that is this one, which is from the Denise Lynn Sacred Travelers deck. It's a beautiful deck. And this is Breaking Trail, a breakthrough is at hand. A breakthrough is at hand. And I'm going to read out what it said here, which applies to all of us. So this is collective messages. Down to where? Down to, okay, read to the, just test up. Okay. There are instances when the path isn't clear ahead, and in those moments, sometimes you need to break trail. In your life, it may seem that the path disappears. However, the only way to reach your destination is to push through, keep going, do things in a new way. Imagine a woman giving birth. It's hard, but through her great effort, a baby comes into being. Something new and exciting is coming into your life. And that applies to all of us, because it's coming as a collective experience. I'll read that out again. There are instances when the path isn't clear ahead, and in those moments, sometimes you need to break trail. In your life, it may seem that the path disappears. However, the only way to reach your destination is to push through, keep going, do things in a new way. Imagine a woman giving birth. It's hard, but through her great effort, a baby comes into being. Something new and exciting is coming into your life. Okay. So they're all the cards that showed up. Any other cards? No, do 4 readings. Okay, call out to 4 of you who would like a card picked. And just let me know in the comments with like 1 word or 2 if you would like it on a specific thing. And any questions and how you are. It's still a Monday check-in, even though it's in the evening. Angela, let me know if that was helpful for you in thinking about how well you express yourself in other ways. Yes, I resonate with that card. I'm going to move to a new city and I feel a bit anxious about it, particularly with finances. Would you like a card, Haruka? And then let me tell you a great story about finances. Anyone that's here for readings, just pop it in the comments. Let me know if you'd like a card. Yes, you'd love a card. Okay. It feels like on finances more than anything, Haruka. Finances and what will it look like? So I want to tell you this. Do the card first? No, tell the story. Okay. I want to tell you this, all of you and whoever's listening to the replay. So someone I know, there have been major life changes over the last few years. And so what she thought her finances would look like is not what they do look like. Major changes and, wobbly she wobbled around the whole thing and everything looked like it was going to crumble. And a lot of it did. And it doesn't look in any way the way she thought it would. And what happened was that she decided to put her health first, made some major changes, gave up a whole heap of things that looked like they would bring all the money into her life for her to be able to just fund living costs. And when she really committed and said, you know what, I don't need to know where it's going to come from. I'm actually going to fully commit to my health. Two things, it showed up in two ways. It showed up to the amount that she is able to not work for a couple of years. Now, if she wanted to worry beyond that, she could think, well, what happens after that? Because there's nothing in place after that. But she's not. She's living in the present. And we had this conversation where she said, it's quite amazing and extraordinary once I surrendered and really allowed it just to, and said, I don't know how it's going to come, but I'm going to commit to this, how she was met. And I have just found this in life time and time and time and time again, that when you fully commit, not to giving up, not to going, it's too much, I'm overwhelmed, not to going, I don't care about, I'm going to pretend I don't care about it. But when you fully commit, in a sense, she was coming online with her self-value and her priorities and, prioritizing her health. When you fully commit to that, you're met. But you have to take the opportunities. You can't be closed off with what it might look like. You have to be so open with how it could come and what it might look like. You've really got to let that go. Okay, you'd like a card to Aurora? Let me know if it's on something particular. Okay, so Haruka, finances, new city. And this is the deck. Yes, one. Okay. Okay, this one, look at the book. Okay. It's Protection Guardian. P. Okay, why are you not there? Sometimes finding these is more difficult than Protection Guardian 112. Okay. Okay, what am I reading out? The extended message. Okay, so this is the card, Haruka, and it's Protection Guardian, drop your shields. Great, I love that, Haruka, because it's really powerful. And really, she could have lived in a lot of fear. She has been very conscious her whole life to create that nest egg, to make sure it's there. She's worked very hard her whole life. She's made good financial decisions, and then it all went boom. And she really surrendered to it. She got to the point where it just became, she just really saw that her health has to come first. She has to prioritize it. And really, she's attempted that in the past, but she didn't commit to it in the way that she has now. And now she's just like gone, I'm just going to find a way. And then she was just met so beautifully. So this is the message on this card. You may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that is not your present. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. Know that angelic protection is swirling around you at this moment and will help you move forward in a more fearless way. Call on your guides for help in changing your frequency so you can feel safe and protected at this time. You are stronger than you think, and your angels and ancestor guides are here to help you realize this now. While I was reading that, Haruka, I had a vision of like you actually doing one of your drawings and just allowing it to be channeled through you, and that it would be a code for you to break this pattern for that, you know, what they're talking about, like the limiting beliefs around money. That you could do a painting that you would channel, and it would break, it would be a code. It would be a code for you, just for you. So just step aside and really just let it come through you. And it would be a code for you to break that limiting beliefs on money. And then you take it with you to the new city. And you can have it kind of as your reminder. So drop your shields and allow things to come to you. Okay. That was from the Angels and Ancestors Kyle Gray deck. And let me have a look, Aurora, what you... Still don't know why this doesn't stay up. Okay, so we've got Aurora, Marianne, and Angela. So they're the ones I'm going to do. So Aurora, what to know for this week for me? Okay, this is the deck that shows up for you, Aurora. Okay. For Aurora for the week, what to know? That one. That one. Okay, this will be interesting. Okay. So the first one that came out, it kind of sort of came out a bit half-hearted. And because I didn't really trust it, they said, well, you can pick another one, but it'll be a very similar message. So, Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? How are you being called to step up and lead, Priestess? And Sisterhood of the Rose. Beauty and devotion, Priestess, Mystic, and Teacher, right? So this card kind of half-hearted sort of started poking out, and I tested up, is this the one? And it was like, yes. And then I said, is there another one? And they said, well, you can pick another one, but it's really only going to give you the same message because the first one was spot on. But if you don't trust it, you can pick another one and it will give you a very similar message. So for you, Aurora, how are you being called to step up and lead? So that's the Priestess card. And then Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. I love when they get a bit smarmy. Okay, Marianne, I'd like a card regarding moving. Okay. From this one as well. Oh, great, Haruka. I'd love to see the painting if you're happy to share it, but don't feel that you need to. It's very much yours and personal and private. Okay, Marianne, moving. One, this one, this one. And you need the... Okay, so this is the Priestess one too, but this one we need the book. Okay. Priestess 52. Okay, so this is the card for you as well, the Priestess card. How are you being called to step up and lead? The new home will definitely require you to step up. Step up and step out. Step up and step out. And then this is the part of the book that is the message for you. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing as you are and might only be one step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks and troughs. You don't need to know the way, just believe that there might be a different one. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing as you are and might only be one step behind you. So that's very much a community living feel. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks and troughs. You don't need to know the way, just believe that there might be a different one. Different not just in where you live, but different in the way you live. So it's like, where are you called to step up and lead? And tribe and group, and it might be a different way of living that you hadn't thought of before. It might be a different way of living that actually just might be quite something that we don't tend to do already. But like the tribe are waiting. They might be behind you, but just start to shift in the perspective of what this could look like and just fully let it be open. May very well not be on your own. Could very well be like community tribe sort of living. Like, not tribe as in, like bouncing with the Maasai. But tribe as in like, community living. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Great, Aurora, you're welcome. And yeah, great card. And Angela, yes, I'd like a card too. Thanks, Sabina. Angela, do you want it on anything in particular or just whatever shows up? Card for Angela. Do you have something in particular? It's saying there's probably something particularly that you'd like. Guidance regarding direction and job. Yep. Okay. Okay. This one and an oil. This one and an oil. Okay. Start with the card first. Alrighty. That was direction and job, wasn't it? Direction and job, yes. Okay, one card. Okay, this is from the Denise Lynn Sacred Traveller, and it's telling me I will need the book. Okay, so the card is Mystic Healer. Healing energy flows through you. Mystic Healer. Healing energy flows through you. And what is the card? There are times when the traveller steps off the path to search for the mystic healer. The healer instructs that everything in nature has the intrinsic ability to restore itself and reminds you that you also have this powerful ability within you. Okay, I'm going to read that out again. There are times when the traveller steps off the path to search for the mystic healer. The healer instructs that everything in nature has the intrinsic ability to restore itself and reminds you that you also have this powerful ability within you. So you also have this powerful ability to restore yourself. Okay. So they're saying that's it for you for now. Like, let me know if that resonates, because I'd be interested to know. But they're saying if they give you much more information than that, it'll only be overwhelmed. Okay, there's still an oil. So just the main take home, you have the ability to restore yourself. Okay, I've got Tasmanian lavender. which is just, I don't know if you like lavender, Angela, but I love it. It is so glorious. And what's the message from the lavender? Mother Earth. True healer and multi-dimensional being. Okay, so that's double confirmation there. Mystic healer. You do like lavender, that's good. So mystic healer, healing energy flows through you. You have the ability to restore yourself. Restore, was it? You have, just as nature has the ability to restore itself, you also have this powerful ability within you to restore yourself. And then the lavender, which is Mother Earth, and the healing characteristic for the message was true healer and multidimensional healing. Okay. I hope that's helpful to you all. Haruka, when you were sharing that story of your friend, I felt that for me, I just need to surrender to my music and art, and finances will work out. Thank you so much. Yeah, beautiful. You know, it's definitely coming. Oh, I'm glad that resonates, Marianne. Yeah, beautiful cards today. Beautiful cards. Pleasure. You're all very welcome. I said that for the first time. You know when you just know something, when you say it and you just know. And if somebody was to say, how do you know? I have no idea how I know this, but it is the truth. The artist will be revered. And I remember I had a 15-year-old girl that I was working on, and she's a beautiful, very talented artist, and she was feeling really wobbly with the state of the world, and she was feeling like teens right now are really feeling like, well, what's going to happen, because they see the adults go, it's all falling apart, it's all terrible. So they're in this thing where they're like, well, what, you know, the younger kids are a little bit like not quite yet stepping into it, but those teens, they're in that kind of space where they're like, what am I actually stepping into? Like, what industries are still what is there any point? What is the point? What will I study? And I think they can feel this new earth starting to like rumble, starting to be here. And they're feeling like, well, what is the point? What's going to be here? What's not going to be here? What kind of jobs are still going to be around? And so she was feeling that way. And I said to her that the artist will be revered, like, you know, like all gifts and abilities will be, but it revered in the sense that in the current world, like, say doctors are revered or lawyers are revered, or, you know, things like that, or like, you know, superstars are revered, whatever, that will be. So yeah, so lead the way on that, Haruka, like lead the way, allow that to really just, it's reminding me of this card. So I'm just going to just hold that up for you all to be reminded of that we had a bit earlier on. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. So let them literally just break open and change and drop that outer shell and just activate. You know, and you can activate that, Haruka, with just dropping all that old fear and worry about money and how it has to come, and you know, people telling you you can't make money off art and all that sort of thing. Things, you know, the things people tell us and pass on, limitations and all sorts of things. All right, any closing card? Yes. From the rose, one I've already used, no, a new one. Okay, so I'll leave it there tonight. Thank you for joining me. I will be back to 9 a.m. next Monday. I will hopefully have a camera on here so that I'm actually looking at you and not looking like a deer lost in headlights. And, okay, message for the collective, just for here, no, for the collective. So if you're watching this on later on replay, all the cards are for everybody. You'll get what you need to get, and you'll get from the teaching what you need to get. Okay. Okay. The Wild Rose, do it your way, embrace your uniqueness untamed. The Wild Rose, do it your way, embrace your uniqueness untamed. I love how that ties in with, like, don't let just finding our voice, raising up, you know, if we're artistic, use that. If you're, you know, good with words, use that, whatever. Just embrace it. Like, this is the healthy way of kind of that matrix overlay, that narrative that's been hijacked. All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Remember to set the tone for the week. Be conscious of what tone you set. Do you want to put into the comments quickly what tone you will be setting going into your week? What tone will you be setting? What tone will you be setting so that you will be living as an example? Thank you, Aurora. You too. Does anyone want to put in what tone you're going to set for the week? What is your intention? What tone will you set? Thank you for being here live. It's great to interact with you. You're welcome, Haruka. I hope the cards were helpful. I don't know if there's a lag in the comments. Calm, smooth, creative. Oof, I like that. Thanks so much for being a great message tonight. You're welcome, Angela. Calm, smooth. If I do that, what happens? Do they stay up? Calm, smooth, creative. Beautiful. Have faith in myself. Beautiful. Love that. Love that. So you will be setting the example of having faith. I'll set the tone of being a good listener. Oh, I like that. So, yeah, that definitely, I have to say, was like a when I received that. The censorship we're seeing in the world is a symbolic representation of what we all do to each other. The censoring we do to each other and the censoring we do to ourselves. All right, everyone. Much love to you, and enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great week. And back next Monday, remembering my power within. Beautiful, beautiful. Set that tone, set that, live it, embody it, and go consciously through your week. And back to Monday morning check in next week. All right, much love.